Hello, welcome. My name is Susan Mickey, and I'm the director of the School of Theater here at Boston University College of Fine Arts. We're so glad you're here. This is the very first live performance with a real audience we have had in 855 for the School of Theater since we shut down in March of 2020. This also marks, I think, the emerging of the new things that are happening here at the School of Theater that are so exciting. This is a part of a larger trajectory and project that was begun by Kirsten Greenidge, our head of playwriting, that starts to really invest in the reading, the workshopping, and the producing of new plays and new work by our students and by artists in and around the world. We read the plays in first pages that we see in our matinee classrooms. Then we move them along to a springboard reading that we do at the end of each semester. And then they become new next stage workshops or next stage plays. This is a next stage workshop that you're seeing because this play was started last year by Charlotte Weinman, the playwright. We heard it over Zoom, we saw it, and we said, let's keep this play going. Let's see where this play will go next with all of this energy and this creativity. So enter Enzo, who is our graduate director. And now we start to infuse more and more and more artists in and around to collaborate with this new work. So please enjoy. I'm going to now hand you over to our creative team leader, Enzo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Enzo. Very hard to follow all of that up, but I will do my best. Welcome to Salamander and the Impediments. By the incredible Charlotte Weinman. I'm Enzo, and I have the good fortune of being chosen to direct this project. So we'll get started here in a moment, but first, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which we have rehearsed this play and are now so fortunate as to get to perform it, and the forced displacement of the indigenous peoples who lived here by European colonizers. Colonization is an ongoing process and unfortunately one that we are compelled to participate in every day. However, acknowledgement of this is the first step in the process of decolonization. We all, myself included, can choose to support the Wampanoag, Massachusetts, and other indigenous peoples of the greater Boston area and learn all that we can about their history and how to redress the ethnic cleansing and genocide that was visited upon them by many of our ancestors. We reject that legacy wholesale and hope to build a coalition that spans all marginalized people, rejecting any form of supremacy or ideology of oppression and suppression. So let's, if you would humor me in this, let's please take a moment of silence to honor those who were dehumanized and driven out of their land, not out of a sense of guilt, but a beginning of an effort to restore dignity and intentionality in the way we appreciate the spaces we are granted access to today and every day. Thank you. After today's 70-minute performance, there will be a 10 or 15-minute talk back, so you're all invited to stick around because we'd love to hear your thoughts on the script that Charlotte has been developing with us for the last month. And lastly, please note, it's a pretty crowded room, so please note the exits in the theater. We have one behind you that most of you came through, and then a fully accessible exit to your left. Without further ado, the Salamander and the Impediment. I was just reminded, content warning. Thank you. This play deals with themes of alcoholism, lots of alcoholism, self-harm, and mentions of violence, so please take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you.
This is a play about love.
Is it now?
This is a play about love. This is a play about a love worth writing a play about. A love that was the beginning and the end of everything.
This is a play about fascination.
Curiosity, I say. This is a play about looking once and wanting to look again.
Can we say fascination? This is a play about being fascinated. This is a play about being enwrapped, transfixed.
Please. This is a play about voyeurism. This is a play about rubbernecking a generation-long car accident.
But also friendship.
Yes, friendship.
This is a play about a famous writer.
2 famous writers.
2 famous writers. And 2...
Oh, yes. What would the word be for what we were?
Yeah, Scott, think you can come up with one on your own?
Let's not fret over semantics.
Did he just say that?
I don't even know how to respond to that from him.
What would you have me say?
Are you serious? I'm not helping you cheat.
That's
Here
not what I
with
mean.
this.
I'm just trying to do the right
Oh,
thing.
the right thing.
You know what I mean. It's...
No, you two. We're doing this. On with the story.
Okay. The play begins in 1918.
1921.
The play begins in 1916.
But...
1916.
But it began long before that.
And it ends...
Not yet.
Well, it happens in Montgomery, Alabama to start.
Yes, I can agree with that. It happens, or it begins at least, in Montgomery.
We grew up there.
This is where our story begins. You might know it.
Or no version of it.
You might know a few parts.
You might have heard a few bits of trivia. You might know, for instance, that Zelda Fitzgerald died in a hospital fire in 1948.
Okay, that's one way to start this.
An insane asylum, burnt to the ground. She was only recognizable when they matched some found teeth to her dental records.
Wow. Ernest Hemingway died in 1961.
Stop.
And his
Stop
last
it.
words
Stop,
were
stop,
"Good night,
stop,
my-"
stop!
Zelda.
And then he...
Zelda.
Whatever.
Anyway, Francis Scott Fitzgerald died in 1940. Heart attack. His last novel not yet finished. And Tallulah Bankhead died in 1968. Her last words, since you brought it up, were codeine bourbon. And her husband was devastated when she died. It broke his heart.
Can we not do this yet? It hasn't even started.
You're right, yes. This is the beginning of everything. This is the beginning of a play about 2 well-known historical figures, 2 lesser-known ones. This is the beginning of a play about being unable to tear your eyes away from a disaster. This is the beginning of a play about plagiarism, voyeurism, friendship, and unavoidably love.
And we'll begin it like this.
Montgomery, Alabama.
August 1918.
At night.
The sound of cicadas.
It is hot.
Zelda and Tallulah sit on the floor.
On the porch.
In their underclothes.
They pass a bottle of whiskey between them.
There's also a buck knife,
And a lemon on the floor.
which they slice and occasionally suck on as a chaser,
A pack of cigarettes.
and a box of matches.
Any files?
Go fish.
So when are you going to tell me about your date with that army
Tallulah,
boy?
will you hush? Mama's just upstairs.
I'm being quiet.
For a rooster, damn. And besides, it wasn't a date. Ow! Did you just pinch me?
No.
Yes, you did.
That wasn't a pinch any more than that was a date.
Tallulah.
I'm waiting.
Got any nines? Oh, that's so interesting. He calls on me every single day.
And has for nearly 3 months.
No, not nearly, just 1 month.
Every day.
She blushes and conceals it by taking a big swig of whiskey.
Got any nines? Got any nines?
Go fish! Well?
Well, what?
Jeez, Louise, Zelda, it's like pulling teeth with you. Do you like him?
Well, sure, don't I like everybody? I like him fine.
You gonna go steady with him, you think?
No. No. I don't think I will. Because if I did that, then I wouldn't get to have fun anymore, would I?
Don't you care about having a boy?
Surely I do. Just why does it have to just be one?
Well, so you can be in love with each other.
Who said anything about that? I didn't say anything about that. I don't want love from any one person. I want it from everybody. I just want boys and to swim.
Lord, here she
No,
goes.
really, I don't need anyone coming in as long as I've got a swimming pool and lots of people to watch me take advantage of it. I think I'll be just fine.
I'll remember this.
You're just as bad.
Lord, forgive us.
An electric moment passes.
Besides, he's only positioned here for the summer. There's no use going around words like steady.
I don't know how you can be so cavalier about all this.
Tallulah, he's just a boy. There's tons of them.
No, there's not tons.
Oh, honey. Yes, there are. They're like locusts. Just look around the next time you're outside. They're the ones spitting on the sidewalk.
Not any that call on anybody except you.
Well, that's just not true.
None of them ever want to call on me.
They're too good for them.
Oh yeah, that's why. What?
You ever just feel really, really lucky? I wouldn't change a thing. I just wouldn't.
Any kings?
No kings. But I am just drowning in jacks.
Night, 1919, August. The rain has just let up, the streets are wet. Scott and Zelda come careering near.
Wait, stop.
She suddenly freezes and poses under the light of the street lamp.
Am I gorgeous?
He does mean this.
He means every word of this.
You are my favorite thing to look at.
I like to dance with you, Francis Scott. May I call you Francis for short?
You may.
I like to dance this with you, Francis. No, it doesn't suit you. Scott, it is.
Doesn't suit me. Why? Why?
I wouldn't like to kiss you so much if I kept having to say, oh, Francis, all the time. I feel embarrassed.
He goes in to embrace her, but she slithers out and runs away like an embarrassed child.
Suddenly, she dove into the water, and when she arose, she had become a fish.
A fish?
A beautiful fish. The most beautiful. It's beautiful, even though her face was like a fish's face. Princess of fish.
Princess of fish, huh?
Princess of fish. She slept on a bed of seaweed in a house made of shimmering seashells. And she was loved desperately by all marine life.
How nice.
Indeed.
And what kind of company did she keep?
Well, she got dancing with the eels and the octopuses, and she'd have long, meaningful talks with the starfish. But mostly, she was by herself, swimming around, singing the loveliest songs there ever were. She sang them into bubbles, which let some of the song out when they broke on the surface.
And what were these songs about, if I may ask?
They were love songs, of course. Love songs about that human boy who took her dancing before she'd had to return to the sea. She'd had many lovers since then, but none did she love like she loved that human boy. How she loved him most of all.
She shouldn't have left.
It's just a story, Scott. I'm not going anywhere.
Good.
He is drunk.
An attempt at profundity.
I don't like you going anywhere I'm not. I like to be where you are, and I like you being where I am. Zelda?
He reaches for his pocket.
What are you doing?
He gets on one knee.
Zelda,
What are you doing?
I've talked to your father.
Scott, stand up.
I don't want to have to guess if you're mine. I want to know you are.
Scott.
I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. I love you more than it's possible to love. Please, Zelda, marry me. Please.
Scott.
She's smiling, isn't she?
The smell of something burning.
She is smiling.
The smell of something burning.
She is almost definitely smiling.
flash.
Flash.
Like a wedding photo.
Flash.
Flash.
In the flashes, Zelda and Scott disappear.
And Tallulah appears in their spot.
1930, Algonquin Hotel. A swarm of press as Tallulah leaves.
Tallulah!
Tallulah!
What made you finally decide to get married?
Oh, I'm marrying for love, darling, if you can believe that.
Does this mean your days of promiscuity are over?
I resent that question, young man. Whoever gave you the notion that my promiscuity has an expiration date?
Will you and your husband stay in New York?
I will stay in New York until the city files a restraining order against me. And when it does, London.
Any comments on your rumored homosexuality?
Oh, it's all horribly painful, you see. Going down on a woman gives me a stiff neck, and going down on a man gives me lockjaw. I'm at a real stalemate, I'm afraid. There's got to be a better way.
Any word from Zelda?
I beg your pardon.
You and Zelda Fitzgerald, you were best friends, am I correct? Do you hear from her often?
Gee, can't a girl get an interview in without hearing about Zelda Fitzgerald?
You did not attend the wedding, am I correct? That was nearly 10 years ago.
You didn't ask for this, but if I can offer some advice, you don't marry a legend. And that, I'd like to be clear, is not advice for Zelda. That's all for today. No more questions. Thank you.
Tallulah!
Tallulah!
So what do they call you here on Earth?
What are you
Aphrodite?
doing?
What do they call you here
We're
on
not
Earth?
there yet.
Can't we be?
We can't just jump around. That's not.
I don't care about the other parts. I want to get to that part.
Scott.
Please?
No. Just where are we now? What's next?
New York, 1920. The Fitzgerald estate. A party for Scott's newest novel. The band is loud, the room is hot, and Zelda is a magnet in the middle of it all. Scott climbs onto the stage as the song ends. He taps the microphone.
All right, all right. Well, I'll let you get back to your dancing in just a minute. But I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all for being here with me tonight.
Applause, laughter. She's so funny.
Now, for those of you who don't know, I began writing a little story some time ago.
Applause, laughter. He's so modest, so charming.
And I guess I must know what I'm doing, because it appears to be that people liked it. Is that so?
Yes.
We
love your story.
You're a savant, and did we mention how charming?
Very good, very good. Well, I don't want to spoil the party, so I'll keep this short. None of this would be possible if I didn't have the girl of my dreams keeping my bed warm while I'm up all night writing.
Someone whistles.
Zelda,
She's smiling.
my wife.
She's not smiling, like something inside her is hitting up against itself.
This is all for you, gorgeous.
She remembers her face. She fixes it. She's smiling again.
Now, let's get back to it.
She is handed a drink. She downs it. She motions for another as Scott comes to her. He dips her into a deep kiss. Ernest materializes. The air is cold the minute he does. He cannot conceal his distaste. He rolls his eyes.
Wonderful toast, my darling.
Oh, yes, my darling. Just absolutely stirring.
Zelda cannot conceal her distaste. She rolls her eyes. She downs her drink. Another.
Ernest, good to see you, sport.
Oh, come on. I would have missed this for the world.
Have you gotten something to drink yet?
No, but it seems the missus has.
Ever the observationalist, Mr. Hemingway.
Observationalist? Ever the word worker, Mrs. Fitzgerald.
Scott, my dearest, you must come dance with me this instant, or I shall think you are positively the most boring creature to ever walk the planet.
Can't have that.
Oh, you don't need permission from him. Come on.
Zelda pulls Scott away. A crowd follows them. Ernest watches and drinks as he does. It's a slow song.
You know you're the love of my life, don't you?
I've heard rumor of this, yes.
Good, I'm glad that one's made it to you.
They dance.
It's sweet.
Anything you'd like to say to me?
Your tie is crooked?
Is it?
No.
Anything else?
Ugh, all right, twist my arm. You are a brilliant man,
Oh,
Scott.
stop it. You really mean
I
that?
won't say it again. Fine.
He kisses her neck.
You're brilliant.
He kisses her neck. He
Genius.
kisses her cheek.
I love you.
He kisses her cheek. He kisses her face. He makes an intimate move with his hand.
Scoundrel!
She pushes him off playfully. They laugh.
Everybody laughs. They drink.
They spin.
The crowds change.
More drinks.
More dancing.
And through it all, Zelda and Scott are laughing wildly together.
Another drink.
And another.
Scott sees Ernest. He drops Zelda's hand.
Ernest. Cut in, will you? My wife will not stop dancing. I've had to use the John for the past 3 songs.
You're leaving me?
It won't be but a moment. You won't even notice I'm gone.
He giggles as he turns to go. Zelda pulls him back in and kisses him, much steamier than is appropriate. She lets him go.
He, dizzy, wanders off.
Zelda smiles sweetly at Ernest and holds out her hand. Reluctantly, he takes it. A slow song plays. They dance in the middle of the crowd. The crowd dissolves around them like thinning paint until ultimately they're alone together.
Ernest. It's such a shame we aren't better friends. It surprises me we aren't.
Oh yes, you fit in nicely with my collection of elite and unhinged women.
I mean, because of how similar we are.
Oh,
Yes. We both like to drink, we both like to write, we both like to flirt with my husband.
that's so.
It's what I've seen. And I am rather sharp, you'll find.
So, what? You think,
Could be. But even if not, I'm known for being right about a scandal. I've called quite a loyal audience. They always believe me, Mr. Hemingway. Even if I am a drunk, as you say. Even if I'm making the whole thing up.
you sure are something, Zelda.
I've been told that, yes.
Although you missed one key similarity, I believe.
Have I? Oh, let's see. It's not a shrewd sense of style, because only I have that. It's not the sunken-in eyes of the emotionally repressed, because only you have that.
No. No, not those things.
Then what?
I have heard sometime of your friendship with a one, Tallulah Bankhead.
Zelda isn't smiling. He says the following as if injecting her with a poison, circling her like an animal.
Those friends are damned important, particularly for a young girl, but really for all kinds of people of all ages. This life is hard, jagged, full of eyes. The people we find we can take shelter in, that's treasure. I don't have to tell you. I know you. The friendship you had with Tallulah, and I say had because it does seem to be a had, poor thing. What a deep and special love that was, really. I can only imagine.
Yes.
Huh. And when I do imagine it, I imagine it similar to the kind of friendship I have with Scott. Someone to be fond of, to take shelter. As I said, that's treasure. It's a shame you and yours fell out of touch, Mrs. Fitzgerald. It really is. I intend to do all that I can to ensure that I do not do the same with mine. I recommend you do not align yourself against me in this pursuit, not just for my happiness, and not just for Scott's either. Though I can say with some confidence he's quite fond of me in return, as I'm sure you've noticed. I recommend you do not align yourself against me for your own benefit. I know you. All you ever wanted was to be in love, like you are now. Don't pull at the thread of it, Zelda, or it's both of us in the headline. Do you understand?
Cicadas buzz.
Cicadas buzz.
Cicadas buzz.
I asked you a question.
Ernest pins Zelda up against the wall.
I never did that.
Ernest pins Zelda up against the wall.
No, I didn't.
Zelda slips out the door.
Party music comes back. Busy.
I'm going to do it
I
now.
like how you are.
So what do they call you here on
No,
Earth?
Scott, there are rules. You can't.
Like you care about the rules.
I care about them here. Just set the next scene.
July 1919.
Evening.
The air is heavy.
The clock is ticking.
Zelda enters Tallulah's kitchen.
Holding flowers.
Myrtle.
They're lovely.
It's for you.
Yes, Phil. Thank you, honey. Gloves.
Gloves. Yes. William Evansport. I saw him looking you over a little while ago, like you had all of outer space floating around you or something, so I thought I'd investigate the matter.
What did you do?
I just asked him, plain as day, whether he would like to take you out sometime, or would he prefer just ogling you from across the street until the end of time.
Zelda!
And he said he would like that very much, and would you be interested? And I said you would be, and he said fine, and he'd call you up sometime.
Well, what'd you do that for?
Well, he was bugging me, his paralysis around you. He was becoming an eyesore, and that's saying something because he is not bad looking.
Why'd you tell him I'd go out with him?
Well, won't you?
Well, I don't have much choice in the matter now, do I?
Well, I only said yes because I knew you'd be interested.
I'm not interested though, Zelda.
What? Of course you are.
Why course?
No, I just have never seen you say no before.
Yeah, well, I do know how.
I know.
I don't often want to.
That's all right.
You're not the only one who gets to be all discerning and fainting and prudish.
Okay, Tallulah.
And it's not that I'm just not saying no to the rest of the dates I go on either, Zelda. I am actively, personally saying yes in those instances.
Okay.
But I wouldn't like to go out with him, so...
So don't. So just forget it.
I should put these in water.
Look at you. Holding them, you look like a ballerina.
I look like what?
Yeah. Like a ballerina. Like a princess in a painting or something. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Lila, can I ask you something for real?
As opposed to?
Something serious.
Listen, honey, don't worry about it for even a second. I know a woman outside of Deatsville. She handles a sister or one of my girlfriends from boarding school. She's real remote and she keeps quiet.
What are you talking about?
There's no need to play coy with me, sweetness. If you're missing your monthlies, there's no
Oh,
time
for
to
the love
wait.
of Jesus Christ, Tallulah, no, not
Oh,
that.
Lord almighty. Well, why'd you work me up like that?
Sorry for the prank.
Oh, God. What was it that you needed then?
I was just wondering what you thought of Scott.
And why were you wondering that?
I gotta have a reason.
Zelda, are you going to marry that man?
No. Well, I don't know. How am I supposed to know something such as that?
Would you like to?
I don't think I'll like being married.
Well, you think you'll do it?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. That's not what we're talking about.
Is it not?
We are talking about you and your army boy.
I don't want to talk about Scott anymore.
I'm not talking about Scott. I'm talking about you.
Well, no, you're not. You're talking about us.
Careful how you draw that us line, darling.
I meant us as in Scott and me.
I see.
Regardless, you know I wouldn't do a thing like that by sneaking. I need your blessing, of course. More than I need my own daddy's, I need your blessing.
Zelda.
I'm being serious. I'm being serious, Lula, aren't I? I couldn't marry anybody you couldn't stand to be in the same room with, because then what room does that leave me in?
No. You can't put that in your way. You were always going to get married off to someone.
No. I wasn't always going to get married off. I was always going to get married, maybe, but not off.
It's just an expression.
Well, mind the way you sharpen it.
All right. Well, you were always going to marry someone, and that's just that. And it doesn't matter so much what I think of him, because I'm not the one marrying
It
him.
matters to me. I'm asking what you think of him.
I think he's fine.
Fine.
Yes, fine.
You can't come up with any more syllables than that.
Zell, I don't really see why
I'm
I gotta...
asking you to be my friend. Please just be honest with me, please, Tallulah. Please, Tallulah.
I don't trust him.
You don't trust him?
I don't think he's...
Trustworthy.
I don't think he's good.
You don't think his family's good?
I'm not talking about family. I'm not talking about wealthy. I said good.
I see. There. Was that so hard?
Somewhere else in time we see Ernest and Scott talk.
You're upset.
Why would I be upset? I asked you to be honest with me and you weren't, so.
You're upset that I don't like him.
Well, and you're upset that I do.
Who said I was
Because
upset?
I practically had to hunt you down to see you tonight. You've been avoiding me.
I haven't been avoiding
Yes,
you. You've been
you
busy
have,
with
and you
him.
didn't make an effort.
Scott puts his hand on Ernest's knee. They are much closer.
Is this really about Scott? Is this about me?
He thinks of you as furniture in his living room drama novels.
You have no idea.
He thinks of you as someone he understands well enough to replicate on paper to improve.
He thinks of me.
He thinks of you as fiction,
He
Zelda.
thinks of me.
How could you be with somebody who reduces you to that?
As opposed to what exactly? To spending my life alone? Spending my life with you?
Ernest whispers something to Scott.
Is it so hard to imagine?
Don't do that.
We always said.
We were children.
It was last
We
summer.
were delusional.
We were onto something.
I don't want to talk about that now.
I know you don't.
Cicadas buzz.
Just because you're unsatisfied with people, because you rely on a rotating cast of validators.
I only rely on myself. And you.
Don't lie to me. I know you. You would die for attention. You know you would. You used to hold your breath till someone would look at you. Hold your breath till you turned blue in the face, just so anyone would see you dying.
And that's so different from you? Tell me, Zelda, what does Scott give you that you don't already have?
He thinks I'm smart. He thinks I'm a good writer.
He thinks you look good at writing. There's a difference.
So he thinks I'm beautiful.
Please, Zelda. So does everyone else. So has everyone else your entire life.
Why can't I want that? Why can't I just want more of that forever?
How is it different from what we get from walking in the street? How is it different from whatever cheap thing
Because
you
he
think I want?
loves me. Why are you complicating
Please,
that?
Zelda, everybody loves you. You just don't want love. If it was love you're looking for, I wish it was love you were after. If it was love you were looking for, you wouldn't have ever had to look for it. Jesus, fuck, Zelda. I've loved you forever. I have always, always loved you completely, and I would continue to just love you. I would just keep fucking loving you if you would just shut up and let me. But this feels like shit. I don't like this.
Why can't you just love me when a marriage, all it is, and he's gonna be gone. He's gonna travel for work, and I'm going to. I mean, it's what people do, and so nothing has to change. We can just go on just as we are, and
No, we can't. I can't. Can't you see how awful this is for me? I am not gonna waste my life waiting for your husband to leave town so I can go for a bootlegger's shot at happiness. I'm not. And I would choose you, for the record, if I was in your position. I would be the biggest sucker in the world and probably regret it forever and choose you. Over and over and...
please don't leave.
I hope you have a lovely wedding, Zelda. I really do. I hope he is good to you. I hope...
She thinks better of it and slips out the door.
Zelda drinks.
Zelda drinks.
She takes off her shoe and she throws at the door. She drinks.
She drinks until she stumbles into the other frame, the one where Ernest and Scott are, and crumples in a chair. They do not notice her arrival.
Fitzgerald Estate, 1927, French.
So you like the pages?
I like the pages. Well, I did and I didn't. You spend a great deal of your time fooling around with these people, their interiorities.
What about Zelda, darling? Will you pass me the jam? Thank you, dear. What about being consistent with psychology?
You can study Clausewitz and economics and acrobatics, whatever the hell you want. It's not going to do you any good once you sit down and write. You haven't been hurt badly enough to write hurt. No amount of Freud can vest you with experience. You need action to make up for that.
Ernest, you are a highly opinionated person.
Ernest touches Scott's arm. Scott touches Ernest's hand with his. Zelda drinks.
All I'm saying is, forget your own personal tragedy. You spend all your time, your characters spend all their time, and I say this with the utmost admiration, whining and musing, it's thin.
Thin?
Thinly veiled, I suppose? I mean, it's so clearly your complaints.
Well, I don't know about that.
It is, though, it is. It's a documentation of sorrows, a documentation of how you yourself were bitched from the start. The arresting fear of being a fraud, the vapid socialite wife, these, of course, being plot points. Zelda, calm down now. All I'm saying is, you're no more tragic than anyone, though. You just write it all down in very fine words, all that. That's cheap. You make the mistake of believing that just anyone is going to care about your heartache. Stop writing, Scott. Invent some action and write that.
What a general piece of advice.
Sorry?
As if your writing, Ernest, isn't a travel guide to your own insecurities? As if you're not doing a lousy job of hiding in plain sight. Like, what else is your sentence structure for then, if not to mimic crying the way a man does, all trembling and choked up and faking it? The short, choppy sentences like you're scared if you use
Look
more
at you.
words. What?
Doling out the writing advice. It's these newspaper columns, they empower people, and suddenly everyone's a writer.
I am a writer.
Are you?
Yes.
Well,
You do actually write, though.
short stories and essays, but even those are... Her writing is floral and vague. They're fluff pieces, really.
Great.
Oh, no, Zelda, I didn't mean anything by it. It's just, I didn't know they made writers so gorgeous. You're certainly the cutest writer I've ever seen.
Zelda drinks.
Isn't it a little early, Mrs. Fitzgerald?
Is it?
Seems that way from where I'm sitting.
Aw, yes. I understand the position you're in. I see what you mean. I usually am sitting where you're sitting. I would agree with you that it is early to be drinking from that seat. However, I am sitting here today, and you are sitting there, so while it may be early for you to be drinking from where you're sitting, on a matter of precedent, I do not face the same obstacle because nobody ever sits where I'm sitting, which means I get to make up the rules of the seat.
Scott whispers something in Ernest's ears. Ernest laughs and claps Scott on the shoulder.
Scott, my darling, you must come for a walk in the garden with me this instant, or I shall.
Zelda, honey, Ernest and I are talking.
She's drunk.
She can still hear you.
Zelda, why don't you go fix a cup of coffee for yourself?
Because I don't feel like it.
That wasn't so much a question as a request, dear.
Well, gee, for a writer, you certainly are indirect.
Zelda.
For a writer, you certainly are slow with the plot. For a writer, you put on a horribly boring show.
Zelda goes to pour herself another drink.
I think she's had quite enough.
Yes, you've made your opinions on the matter quite clear, Mr. Hemingway. You'll do well to remember you're in my house.
He's in my house! And he's right. You ought to quit it and go inside and lie down or something.
You.
Christ, Zelda! You are embarrassing me.
That's funny, Scott. I've had that the other way around.
What is?
I'm used to being the only member of this household with a residency in the gossip column, but you two lately, really, been giving me a run for my money.
I don't know what she's talking about. I really don't frequently read the
Gee,
gossip
Mr.
column, you
Hemingway,
know?
it seems you're in my seat in the newspapers too. What else of mine will you sit on?
You're drunk.
How groundbreaking. Zelda's drunk.
Aw, Kettle, I just love that color on
Zelda!
you. Scott.
Perhaps I should...
Don't be ridiculous. Zelda, go inside.
Zelda begins to say something, but where would it land? There's nothing behind Scott's eyes. Whatever game she was playing is over now. She slips out.
I'm sorry about that, Bo, really. I don't know what's gotten into her.
Sure you did, sport. You and I both saw what exactly had gotten into her.
I'm embarrassed.
Look, I'd kick myself if I wasn't up front with you here. So I'm gonna say something which is a true risk of being offensive. First, that you and I and any writer worth his salt's got some problem with liquor. I'm certainly not gonna be the one to sit here and deny that. In cases like ours, it's almost forgivable. Ugly habit to be sure, but not any skin off our backs. Because even in our confused states from within our poisoned guts, we produce something that is coherent. Something that's honest. Maybe more honest than anything we've had the courage to put down sober. For my money, if liquor wakes the true image that sleeps in your lucid brain, so be it. Now, there are limits, Scotty, and here's where I may fear that I toe the line with you. Zelda does not use liquor to clarify the world. She mutes it, blurs it up, smudges it. You can't afford impressionism, Scotty. You're too damn sharp for that. I only wish I'd said something sooner. Before you became so preoccupied saving someone who refuses all help, it shows in your writing. She's dead weight. Or, you know what I mean, women. Let me guess, she's wonderful. And then she's not. She looks at you like you're a stranger in the middle of dinner. She undermines. She provokes. She says terrible things, but she doesn't mean them. You love her. You're tired. I'm sorry, Sport. I shouldn't have stepped in, really.
It wasn't always like this.
I'm sure.
I don't know what happened.
If I can venture a guess, you became successful, and she realized how profoundly boring her life is by comparison. See, there's this idea that you share life, but that's bullshit. You run your life parallel to someone, maybe, if you're lucky. It's possible you and Zelda did do that for some time.
And we will again. This is a momentary thing, an adjustment period.
Of course. You know better than anyone.
Yes. Oh, Christ. I was horrible to her just then, wasn't I? She's hopeless. No, I don't mean that. She's always staring off at nothing, or I don't know what else to do.
Ernest touches Scott's hand, something burning.
I really care about you, Scotty. I just don't want to see you sell yourself short.
I appreciate that, yes.
Does she make you happy, Sport?
I married her, didn't I?
I'm asking if you love her. I don't need to hear that. I'm asking you if day to day you delight in her company, or get excited by it, or even just feel relieved when you see her in the mornings.
Of course. Of course I do. I love her.
I didn't ask you that. I don't mean to, but I'm treading water here, Scotty, and frankly, I'm struggling to tell you that. I think about you all the time. In a cellular way, I mean. You're annoying. You never know when to stop talking. You're really bad at smelling. You never learn how to drink whiskey without your whole body shuddering. But I find that I take delight in knowing that you've been around and that you'll come back. I had a dream. Christ, bear with me here. I had a dream the other night. We were sitting on a park bench with nothing touching but our knees.
Ernest,
Please let me finish. Nothing touching but our knees. And people walked by, friends of ours and strangers too, and some stopped to chat and some didn't. The whole time, neither of us looked at one another, but we kept our knees together. And it was just about all of heaven that I can stand. Fuck, but I want more than knees in this life. I at least want you to look at me like you know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. And I see you with her, and she's like a parasite, and it makes me want to scream. She's a vampire. And she can't stand anyone else's success, and she's realizing for the first time, somehow, that she's got nothing to say, no talent to speak for, and that her life, therefore, is of no value to anyone. She's realizing it, and taking out on you and on your work until what? At what point do you decide to invest in yourself? Because I feel sick watching it happen.
Ernest.
And she knows. Of course she knows. I don't give her too much credit in the brains department, but I've got to hand it to her. It didn't take her more than 2 months to see right through the both of us, and since then, she's been sitting there, knowing and hating you for it.
Why are you telling me this?
I'm telling you! I'm asking you to take this opportunity. Set us all free. I was asked to do a residency in France. Come with me. No more stolen glances, or locked rooms, or back doors, just come with me. Please, just come with me. I love you. Please, just come with me. Please.
I don't know. I don't know. I need to think about it.
So, think about it.
Zelda.
It doesn't matter what Zelda thinks or thinks she knows or who she tells. She's not exactly credible, is she? She's no one news source. You don't often get a chance at sure happiness in this life, Scott. Why shouldn't you have everything you ever wanted?
Scott looks at Ernest.
Ernest looks at Scott. He takes his hands and presses them to his lips.
It's sweet.
Something burning.
I'll see you on Monday.
Inside, at the top of the stairs, Zelda listening and standing very still. She is trying to get someone to look at her. She is trying to will someone's head to turn and look at her. It doesn't work. And she,
No.
desperate,
Stop.
throws her body downstairs.
I didn't do this.
Throws her body down the stairs.
No, I didn't.
She throws her body down the stairs. Silence. No No one is hurt. She stands shakily and smooths herself off and walks back outside.
What do they call you here on Earth? What do they call you here on... What do they...
The Fitzgerald estate, night, 1927. Scott writing, Zelda comes in. She's a little drunk. She makes herself languid and seductive.
So it's true what they say. I'm married to my husband and he's married to his work.
That's supposed to be sweet? You pay a lot of attention to things people say, don't you?
I was making a joke.
Kindly refrain.
I'm sorry, that was stupid of me. I shouldn't. Let's start again. I've had a bath drawn. And I'd hate to do it alone.
Zelda! Cut this out, will you? I'm clearly busy, and I've asked you not to come into my study.
When's the part in all of this where we get to be happy? Did we pass it? Is it over? Because I don't think I was that happy in the happy parts, and I'm sure as hell not happy in whatever part we're in now. So I'm just asking you if you know where we're headed and if we're gonna get to be happy there. I fell in love with you and I never even got to enjoy it. Got to.
You're not happy.
Surrender.
No, hey, you're not happy.
Not surprising to you.
A little. Honestly, I earn us a lot of money so that you can have things. I don't know what else I can give you besides, is there something more you want that I can get you?
I don't know.
Because I'll get it for you. If you tell me what it is, I'll get it.
No, I don't know what it is.
Then why are you unhappy?
I don't know. I just
You
am.
have to tell me what's wrong so that I can fix it.
I don't know, Scott.
Can you at least try to explain?
I don't feel like I'm here. Ever. I feel like I'm an imaginary person. Like I'm surprised each time I see my own shadow or footprints. I see these things. This evidentiary support of my body or something, and I think, oh, I think here, so I'm not just tissue paper, I'm not just stamps from other people's postcards. I'm not hollow, I'm consequential. But it doesn't, there's this discord between that belief and the facts of the rest of my life. It's, yeah.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Zelda. Come on, I'm trying, aren't I? You're not making any sense. You're speaking in... Tell me again, in prose, please, how I can help you. Oh, don't, no, don't cry, Zelda. I didn't... Let me fix you a drink. I'm gonna fix you a drink. What are you doing? It's not finished. What are you doing, Zelda? Zelda!
This is my voice. This is.
God damn it, Zelda!
Did you steal from me?
No.
Scott.
You went through my work. God damn it, Zelda! I told you not to come in here!
Because you're stealing from me! These are. You said to all those people, you said I wasn't any good. I believed you.
You're all wound up. Let's sit down and discuss this.
Do not touch me.
Zelda, you haven't been yourself for a while now. I think you're tired. You said yourself, you're not yourself.
Of course I'm not myself, you are.
Okay, Zelda, they were diary entries. It's not like you were gonna try and sell them.
Oh, how very fortunate for you that I'm not more ambitious with my fluff pieces.
Zelda.
What, Scott? Has anyone else read these? Has he read these? Does he know they're mine? Fuck, Scott. Fuck, Scott. What's happening? What the fuck is happening?
You're drunk.
I'm so sick of fucking drunks telling me that I'm fucking
Zelda,
drunk.
please calm down.
No, you don't get to tell me to calm down. What the fuck is going on?
This isn't.
Can you finish your sentences? No, I'm not doing that shit right now, Scott. I am not gonna finish your sentences for you. I am always defending you to everyone. I'm always draining the nonsense bullshit you say for the meaning that is most gonna make me feel better. I can't keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. Do you understand that? I can't keep assuming you're not doing the thing I know you're doing. I need you to tell me in words, your words. Just give me any complete sentence that can begin to explain to me what the fuck happened, why you feel entitled to the whole world,
Enough.
what I'm supposed to do now.
You are my wife. You don't get to talk to me like you don't question.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Does he really talk to me like that? You are my wife. What is that? I'm sorry. What is that? What in the world?
Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to?
Zelda. This is what I mean. You are not well. You don't make any sense.
That's funny. Scott, you're trying to control how I talk? Surely I make some sense to you.
Hey.
No, you're right. I should be careful about what I say to you. You might use this conversation one day. You might make millions of dollars off of this very conversation one day, mightn't
That's
you?
not fair.
No, it's not. And I get left for dead, and you get to have everything you want. You get to call yourself a writer. You're not a writer. You're a secretary.
Come on, Zell. I'm not left for dead. You make it sound like I'm abandoning you. I'm not. I'm immortalizing you. You get to be the model, and I get to be the sculptor. I don't understand what you're so upset about, if I'm honest.
Oh my God, you think
Isn't this what you wanted to be the center of it all?
Oh my God, you think I want... You think I want any of that? I don't want to be cast in stone, Scott. I don't want to just be looked at. I wanted a friend.
And so what now, Zelda? You tell who? And they believe you? Who is going to believe you? Do you understand that? I'm sorry, but Zell, I've been reading, and I know you know what people are saying, that you're an alcoholic, you're a psychopath. You're none of those things, Zelda. I know you're not. You're not a single one of those things. But whether it's founded or not, you're certainly not credible. You're not an author. You know, you are not a writer. You leech off the sensibilities of the people around you. People that you've granted access to by way of me. People that I have worked to meet. This is coming out wrong. Zell, I'm trying. Look, you're not a writer. And why should you be? You're so beautiful. And you don't need the headache. Look, you know me, right? You know what kind of person I am. This is all I've ever wanted to be a writer. This is it for me. You know, I'm meant for two things. I'm meant to be your husband. And I'm meant to be a writer. I've got these things I feel like I've got to say. I don't know how else to put it. These ideas, I can see them so clearly sometimes. Like when I first saw you. And I knew I was... And when I met... But... So... And then sometimes the words just don't come, and it's devastating. It's so confusing. It's like... And I love you. You know, and part of that is because I see myself in you, and I see the way that you see the world, and it's just like how I do, but you're the one who's got the words for it, so I... And it's wrong, right? It was a mistake, but it's one I've made, and it's not like I can go back. And I don't want to. And honestly, Zelda, what can you do to stop me?
He is now very close to her.
We're very far away.
He holds her shoulders in his hands.
We're not.
He is threatening.
We're not.
You have as much credibility as I give you. Do you get that? You bathe in as much of the limelight as I let you dip your toe into. You say you don't feel real. You're as real as I make you, Zelda. You're as real as I want you to be. Which at the moment is not very.
Lights on Zelda only. She's frantic. She rips the pages up, she eats the pages. Then lights come back. No trace of unrest in her body. Scott enters with 2 drinks. Zelda looks disheveled, but she is calm. Either way, he doesn't notice. The pages are neatly stacked on the desk.
What are you doing? It's not finished. What are you doing?
I know I'm not supposed to have looked, but I couldn't resist. And they are wonderful. You really are a marvel.
She turns to go. She moves very slowly as if she's afraid of spilling something. Scott rushes to her and holds her flush against him. She spills into him. It's a sweet moment somehow. He whispers to her.
You're okay. You're okay.
I hope you'll come to bed soon, dear.
A moment creeps by. Alone, Scott drinks. He watches the door.
Switzerland, 1930. The sound of static, a clock ticking, lights up on a radio, and elsewhere, Zelda dictating a telegram, laying out cards for solitaire as she speaks.
How the days do drag without you, dear. Living is cold and technical, my dear.
The sound of static.
At 7 o'clock, I thought I saw you.
Static.
At 9 o'clock, I could have sworn.
Static.
I turned and you were gone.
Static.
I don't belong here, dear.
Static.
All afternoon, dear, I've been writing soggy words.
Static.
Thinking of you, dear.
Static.
Your dear mouth, it's like
Static.
the Alps.
Static.
And I love you, dear. You do not walk like a person plowing a storm, but like a person very surprised at
Static.
a person hardly touching the earth. A person.
Static.
You do not love like a person.
Static.
I wish we were home.
Static.
I wish I was home.
Static.
And you are a monstrous deer.
Static.
A monster.
Static.
Dear.
Static.
And you are a darling dear, and how awful it must be to have a person trying to creep inside you the way that I do.
Static.
Dear, 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 dear.
Static.
I thought I was the salamander. I think I was the salamander. Actually, now I'm gone and fucked everything up. I'm the impediment, aren't I? I hate this play. I hate this fucking play. And I hate you for letting me ruin it with you.
Static from the radio fades into a boisterous interview. Lights up elsewhere, where Tallulah is audibly smoking. She is jovial, comfortable, and physically spread out.
Well, dear, I'm sure you didn't mean to ask me that. I'm sure you don't suppose I'm some sort of flapper or something.
Well, why not?
Darling, you know as well as I do that that whole thing really isn't my bag.
How do you mean?
You've seen those girls. Now tell me, when have you ever seen me move that fast? So jovial and those hands like pinwheels, it's ridiculous on me. Oh, but I think it's just gorgeous. I think those girls, those ladies, excuse me, are necessary to the whole zeitgeist. Beautiful things are always centered in the zeitgeist, so we can't just do away with them. That, and they're some of my dearest companions, if you gather my meaning.
I certainly do.
But no, it's not mine, not for me.
Well, in spite of that, you've been experiencing monumental career successes as of late.
Yes, thank you.
You must feel lucky.
Zelda looks up from her cards.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I suppose I do. Oh, would you look at that?
Seem surprised.
Yes, well, if you knew me well, my darling, you would be surprised too.
Zelda looks at the wall, then at the radio, then at the wall again.
I'll bet when you visit your hometown, they'll throw a parade in your honor.
Well, they might, honey, if I ever visited my hometown.
You don't? Well, don't you ever miss it?
You know, I hardly ever think about it, to be honest with you.
Zelda looks at her knees.
The smell of something burning.
The smell of something burning. Zelda looks at the cards.
Kicks them all over the room.
She kicks them all over the room.
She kicks them.
It starts angry, but it changes into something else. She's like a kid in a pile of leaves.
She admires how they twist in the air.
She bounds off.
Montgomery, Alabama, 1916. June. It is hot. Crickets sound. The grass is dewy. It's nearly sunrise. Zelda and Tallulah can be heard over the fence.
They are giggling
And breathless.
and warm with whiskey.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's hear a warm Montgomery welcome for the sweetest girls you've ever seen.
You've heard all about them before.
Some good.
Some bad.
All true.
Miss Tallulah Bankhead.
And Zelda said.
Wait, no, Tallulah. I don't want to be a salamander tonight. I want to be a fairy queen. Oh, look at the dew on the hyacinths. Oh, I could cry. I want to be a fairy queen. You're drunk. No, I'm not drunk. I'm a fairy queen. The only thing I drink is the reflection of the moon in puddles. If I'm drunk, it's because the moon spiked my drink, that rascal.
Cordial moon.
Hey, moon!
Zelda lifts her skirt over her head.
Zelda!
Light is too far away to touch, and I am a very generous fairy queen.
Tallulah does the same. They twirl around this way, laughing.
Suddenly, Zelda sees another pool of light, where Scott stands, staring. She fixes her dress and marches over to him.
Exiting one world and entering another. Montgomery, August 1918, outside, daytime.
Now?
Okay, now. I should slap you for staring at me like that all this time. Or charge you.
Charge me.
Sure, a sort of viewing fee. Like for a museum or something.
I see. So does that make you some kind of work of art?
You tell me, you're the one staring.
I reckon you are. I reckon you'd make Botticelli's Venus want to close that clamshell and hide herself away.
He knows art.
He knows art. What do they call you here on Earth? Aphrodite?
Cicadas buzz.
Zelda Sayre. And do you have a name or just peeping Tom to suffice?
Francis Scott Fitzgerald.
My, he's got 3 names. Are you some kind of movie star with a name like that?
No, no movie star. I'm a writer. You'll have heard of me soon enough.
Well, guess I should consider myself lucky to have heard of you now.
What about you? You some kind of movie star with a face like that?
Now, that line can't have ever gotten you very far.
It seems to be working for me just fine in all the ways I care about present. You're still talking to me, aren't you?
Fair enough, Francis Scott Fitzgerald.
Cicadas buzz.
So, Miss Sayre, I'm a pretty famous author. What is it you do?
I do plenty.
For instance?
I go on walks in the daytime, I go swimming at night.
And for work? What will you do when you're older?
Don't be boring.
Cicadas buzz and buzz and buzz.
It's hot.
It's hot.
It is hot.
She runs to her first pool of light. Breathless, she takes off a top layer.
Will you help me?
Tallulah undoes Zelda's dress. She steps out of it. She's in her slip. She luxuriates.
No, you. Zelda undoes Tallulah's. They look at each other for a moment.
Then they burst.
I'm a cloud, I'm steam.
That George Edwards, he wanted to kiss you tonight.
Well, he can't. I'm vapor. I'm hardly here. If he tried, he would have fallen face first into the mud. I wish he had, because we would have laughed.
He wanted to kiss you.
I don't care.
He's a fine-looking fellow.
Sure, if you're looking.
And you're not?
I think boys are poor company.
They're boring.
We are interesting.
The most.
The only person whose company I enjoy is you.
Oh, splendid. Shall we marry?
I'm being serious.
Oh.
I don't want to marry any boy who wants more of me than I'm willing to give. And I've already decided I simply must have a bit that's mine. And the rest of me is yours.
This is very true. But they are too drunk to do more than blink at the truth of it until the words vanish.
I haven't much of anything to give a husband besides money, I suppose. And if he is very troubled by that, I shall have to send him packing.
I haven't much to give a husband either. Especially, I can't give him my affection because I've got no interest in having one to begin with.
So it's perfect. We shall go on, just as we are, forever. And we will stay beautiful forever because we are happy.
What about when we're old?
We can never be old.
And when our skin wrinkles and our bodies go...
Maybe then they'll leave us alone.
You'd want that?
Zelda shrugs. She almost says something.
She doesn't.
They'll be looking somewhere else.
And when they're not looking?
Who knows what we'll get up to.
The sound of the crickets is louder as Zelda and Tallulah get very close.
They link pinkies and touch their noses together.
They laugh.
But they do not move away from each other.